Dirty people of the internet, welcome to Mom's Basement, from where I bring you another Destiny 2 build video. A Warlock build electrifying the Gambit activity, fast ability recharge, insane super energy, kind of. Crazy grenade launcher damage if you do everything right. All this and more in DirtyHotte's electrifying Gambit build video, which definitely is a must-see as always. And remember folks, like, subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated and help me out. Because for every like, Mom gives Dirty a cookie. Moreover, if you are interested to see me live, coming to you from Mom's Basement, make sure to drop by my Twitch channel, where I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. You will find the links in the description and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And now let's get this build video started, folks. Okay, Dirty folks, you are still with me? Great. I guess we all heard this sentence in the past.
How about Gambit?
And we all thought, no thank you sir, no Gambit for me. But now we get stuff like bottom dollar dropping in Gambit, so it was time for me to create a build which actually made me enjoy Gambit. Wait, did I really say that? Yes I did. And now it's time to share this build with you folks. We will go through this build step by step and create again a nice little cheat sheet on the way, so that you have the full build on one slide at the end of this video. This build is really tailored to Gambit, so if you're looking for a build for all the other PvE activities, I recommend my Raining Fire build, which I will link here in the video. But now, let's get back to Gambit and the contents of this video. We will start with the weapons and some role recommendations, the subclass and abilities we gonna use, the mods that will make this build even stronger, and the exotic we will rock with this build. And at the end, a little recommendation for stats allocation for this build. So let's go, girls and boys. So let's start with the weapons we gonna use. The first thing I gonna use is the exotic pulse rifle Bad Juju. So it has the perk String of Curses, which says kills refill the magazine, increase damage for a short duration, and grant super energy based on the strength of String of Curses. Fires full auto as well. So that thing is really great for Gambit if you're killing the red bar enemies. You basically never have to reload and you will fill up your super energy quite fast. A little side note here, the catalyst is kind of mandatory to make that really work in regards of super energy. But in this season it's kind of like a random drop, so it should be easy to get if you don't already have it. As a secondary in the energy slot, I would recommend using a sniper rifle. You can use any sniper rifle you like. Mine here is more for the PvE oriented part, because it comes with 4th times the charm. Rapidly landing precision hits will return 2 rounds to the magazine, so you can keep the damage going. And extended mag, which greatly increases your magazine size. In addition, I use a major spec to use it against those yellow bar enemies in Crucible. You basically want to use that sniper for some different scenarios here. For yellow bars, for boss damage at the end of Gambit, and for invading or as an anti-invader weapon. So this brings us to our heavy slot, where I run a rocket launcher. Personally, I have auto-loading holster and chain reaction. Instead of the chain reaction, I would actually prefer to have a lasting impression, but unfortunately I don't have a code duello or any rocket launcher with this perk, because I think that might be even up the damage. So rocket launchers got quite a buff this season, so that's why I recommend it here. And there will be another part in the build which specifically builds on having a rocket launcher ready. Oh, and for sure we're gonna use a boss spec for those Gambit boss damage at the end. So now that we have gone through the weapons one by one, let us just have a quick look at cheat sheet on the weapons area. So we said Bad Juju, the exotic pulse rifle for our main weapon to fill our super energy. Then as a secondary, any energy sniper you feel comfortable with, which we will be using against yellow bars and the boss, and for invading and as anti-invader weapon. Extended mag and 4th times the charm would be my recommendations. And last but not least, in the energy slot, we're gonna use a rocket launcher. I like to run auto-loading holster and lasting impression if you have it. So that was our weapons part, which means it's time to go to our subclass and our abilities. For this build we're gonna run mid-tree Stormcaller, which brings us to the first part, the super. Chaos Reach, I mean you all know it, the laser of death which you can deactivate early if needed. Mid 3 comes also with Ball Lightning, which makes your melee a ranged melee, and it's some nice little arc damage, which works great for the exotic armor we're gonna use, which we will see later in this video. Then we have Pulse Wave. Being critically wounded triggers an energy wave that boosts yours and ally speed. That can be quite useful in those nasty little situations where you need to get away fast. Then one of my favorite parts of this subclass, Ionic Trace. Defeating enemies has a chance to create Ionic Traces. Collecting Ionic Traces grants energy to all your abilities. Nice, so that basically also refills our grenade energy and our melee energy. Quick word on the grenade. I prefer using the Arc Bolt grenades because I want to have my grenade damage instant. You can go for Pulse or Storm if you like them better. That's basically up to you. But I would strongly recommend Arc Bolt. And I guess that are the basis of the subclass and the abilities we're gonna use. So let's have a quick look at our cheat sheet. So we are using Mid 3 Stormcaller, which gives us Chaos Reach. Regarding how to use it, I'd say use it ASAP when you have it ready for the first time. But make sure you will have one ready for the boss burn phase. Ball Lightning is something you want to use off cooldown and as often as possible. Ionic Traces is the nice little passive that gives you back ability energy, which is great for this build. And then we have the Arc Bolt Nade, which as the melee always use off cooldown. For sure try to get as many kills as possible with it, but when it's ready, use it. So that was the subclass and abilities column here. So I'd say it's time for the armor mods we're gonna run with this build, and let me start with the class item. I have a minor discipline mod. I mean that all depends on your stats, and we will talk about that part later. Then I use Bomber, reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability, just to get a bit more nade energy back. In the last slot, Charged with Light, that will be important later. We're using Supercharged here, which says you can have 2 additional stacks of Charged with Light, up to a maximum of 5. So with this mod, you can basically have 4 right now. In the leg slot, I have an intellect mod, the Seasonal Sniper Rifle Scavenger, and Radiant Light. Casting your super causes nearby allies to become charged with light. That is super helpful in Gambit, and you get the plus strength. Never can go wrong with that. Then we have the chest piece. I have a discipline mod here, the Seasonal Unflinching Sniper Aim mod, Pulse Rifle Reserves, because we're gonna use Bad Juju a lot. And here's where it's getting interesting. That's why we're using a grenade launcher. Argent Ordnance. This mod effect stacks with other copies of this mod. So yeah, it stacks, but with really harsh diminishing returns. So we will only use one. It says while charged with light, readying or firing a rocket launcher grants it increased damage and reload speed. Damaging a combatant with a rocket launcher consumes 1 stack of charged with light. So what this thing does, making it really easy for you to understand, if you're charged with light and you use the rocket launcher, you basically get like a 20% damage buff on top. And that, with a rocket launcher, during the Gambit boss burn phase, really helps a lot, and you can burn down bosses really, really quick. Then we have the Gauntlet slot. I have a strength mod here, the Seasonal Sniper Rifle Dexterity, and Swift Charge. We use this mod for 2 or 3 reasons it is. So one is that we can use the Radiant Light benefits we already had on the boots. Then to become charged with light by rapidly defeating combatants with our Pulse Rifle, with Bad Juju that is, which we use a lot. So that should get us charged pretty quickly. And what's also nice is defeating combatants with a Pulse Rifle grants a chance to drop special ammo for your allies. And that's always helpful in Gambit. So that brings us to our last armor slot. And the head slot. 2 things here. Now you know already which exotic we're gonna use, and that's Crown of Tempests. We will talk about that in a second. Let me just finish the mods part. So I have another intellect mod here. And I have Taking Charged. Become charged with light by picking up orbs of power. So every time you pick up an orb, you basically get charged with light, which we need for our rocket launcher damage buff. So let's just summarize really quickly on our Electrifying Gambit cheat sheet. In the mods column, for the class item, the boots, the chest, the gauntlets and the head, And now let me pick out the very special part about this build in regards of mods. So as you can see in the final column, we always have mods that are leveraging Charged with Light. And it all comes down to getting 4 stacks of Charged with Light so that we can use Argent Ordnance. So let me just combine it here and with the arrow to our rocket launcher. Beautiful. And let me tell you what we're gonna do. We try to get 4 stacks of Charged with Light, which is pretty easy with this build. Use it on yellow bars, especially with shields, to burn them down quickly, but make sure to save at least 2 Charged with Light stacks for the boss burn phase. Don't use them on the first health bar of the boss though. Wait for the envoys to spawn a second time, and when you kill them in that phase, it's time to really burn the boss down with the rocket launcher in combination with the Argent Ordnance damage buff and your Chaos Reach super. So just let me show you a very quick example where we started the boss damage slowly. Then I used 1 nade. The envoys respawn. We kill them, and then it's burn time phase with the super and the rocket launcher. And I admit I didn't recognize in this specific situation how many rockets I actually had. We could have burned them down much faster. It's basically on me, but still we won. Okay, so I guess that's it regarding the armor mods. You get the idea. Become Charged with Light. And then burn the boss down with your super and the rocket launcher. Which brings us to the exotic we gonna use. And we will use Crown of Tempests, the well-known Arc exotic. And no, we don't use it with top tree or bottom tree. We use it with mid tree instead of the Geomech stabilizers. Because its perk, Conduction Tines, says the following. Arc ability kills increase the recharge rate of your arc abilities. That's the part that's important for us. The extended duration of Storm Trends isn't relevant for us here. So that also works with the Chaos Reach super. So that also gives you Conduction Tines. And Conduction Tines, the combination with Bad Juju, you really can fill up your super energy bar really fast with this exotic. And moreover, it gives you back your grenades and your arc melee back pretty fast. And that's also part of the point I stated before. As soon as you have your Chaos Reach super ready, make sure to use it and burn down as many enemies as possible in Gambit. But always make sure to have 1 for the boss burn phase ready. So I was really surprised how fast you can fill your super energy meter with that Crown of Tempest in combination with the Bad Juju. So let's look at our cheat sheet. We talked about the exotic we gonna use, which is the Crown of Tempests, and we use it because of Conduction Tines. Here's a little summary of the perk, which brings us basically to the last part to complete our Electrifying Gambit Warlock, and that are the stats. So here's the stats overview. Try to get a good mix of everything. Recovery as high as possible for your build. I allocated the points quite evenly here. So we got 60 at Discipline for our grenade ability cooldown. We have 60 at Strength for our melee ability cooldown. And we have 70 intellect for our super ability cooldown. And 70 seems to be kind of the sweet spot in regards of points spent and cooldown reduction gained. So yeah, that's it. Dirty folks of the internet, that's the complete DirtyHotte's Electrifying Gambit Warlock cheat sheet right here. And I have to say, with this build, even I have fun in Gambit. And I never thought I would say that. But it's true, it's true. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this build? What are you running in Gambit to make it as much enjoyable as possible? Maybe if you try this build in the future, let me know your feedback. And now here's a little free bonus tip for all of you. If you're going specifically for the bottom dollar in Gambit, make sure to equip Prosperity Gambit. Gambit wins have a chance to drop an additional piece of legendary gear at the end. So it might not be a huge boost, but every little bit helps. So that one was free for you folks. Here it is complete. I think everything you need to know for this build is on it. I will attach it as always in the description of this video. And all I gotta say now is, if you liked what you have been seeing and want to see more stuff coming to you from Mom's Basement, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell, leave me a comment below, And to stay updated, follow me on Twitter or just drop in one of my streams over at twitch.tv where I'm live every Tuesday and Thursday. With all that said and seen, stay dirty people, DirtyHotte out.